Hi, it's Tom from bkmnutrition.com, and I want to talk today about a phenomenon called the bucket of crabs. Now, how does the bucket of crabs relate to nutrition, weight loss, fat loss, muscle building, lifestyle, all these other things I talk about? So the bucket of crabs is an analogy used to describe when your friends try to stop you improving your life. Now, this sounds a bit like funny because friends should be maybe helping you towards your goals, and mostly our friends do this. But the bucket of crabs is almost a subconscious action that happens when you are trying to move away from the social circle you're in. Now, again, give you an example of this is that if you're trying to stop smoking, for example, I used to smoke years ago, and when I gave up smoking, it took me 3 attempts to do it, but all my friends smoked. So when I was trying to stop smoking, they would think it was incredibly funny to offer me cigarettes and to say, "Oh, we're all going out for a fag break, Tom, do you want to come?" And that was a sort of an attempt to remove me from their social circle, sort of so I'd feel compelled to go back in. Now this was, I suppose, done as a joking action by them. They obviously did want me to succeed in stopping smoking, but there was always this pull to bring me back into that circle, because if obviously I didn't smoke and they did, then I wouldn't go out for fag breaks, I wouldn't be in their social circle anymore. And when we've got a tribe of people which are our friends, our close-knit friends, we want our friends to stay in our social circle. It's part of this tribal mentality. And I think Stephen Guyenet talks about this in his book about tribes. Well, it might be the Chimp Paradox, but anyway, one of those books who talks about it, where we want our tribe and our friends to stay in our social circle, so we try and do everything we can to bring them in. And this is a subconscious action. Now, in terms of weight loss, if you are trying to lose weight and your friends know you're trying to lose weight, then they will potentially offer you cakes or offer you biscuits or whatever to say, "Oh, it's just one, it won't matter, oh, you've got to live your life, you've got to enjoy yourself," all these things to try and get you to maybe break your diet and enjoy the things that they're enjoying. So if they're all sat around having a cake and you're not, they might say, "Oh, why don't you have a bit of cake, why don't you have a little bit, whatever." That's also to make them feel more confirmed that they're doing the right action by having a cake themselves. But if you're not having a cake and they are, all of a sudden their attention is drawn to the fact that they're eating food which potentially is making them overweight, and you are not having one because you're trying to lose weight, so you're doing the right thing in inverted commas, and they're not. So this makes them potentially feel uncomfortable, and so they want you to have the cake as well. That validates them having their cake. And this could happen potentially if you're going to the gym and all your friends are going to the pub, and they'll say, "Oh, why don't you come to the pub with us? I'll give the gym a rest for a minute. Just come to the pub tonight." And you're like, "No, actually, I would prefer to go to the gym to work out to lose weight." And then after that, and they all talk about, "Oh yeah, we were in the pub the other day talking about, oh, you weren't there, so you didn't know about it." This is the bucket of crabs. It's if you look at this, the phenomenon is that when you have this bucket of crabs and then one's trying to get out, all the other crabs will pull together to try and stop him getting out because they want him to remain part of their social circle. So that's the analogy. So it's not so much about your friends are trying to upset your goals and your life goals, but they will try and keep you in the social circle that you're in. So just be aware of that. And it might be, unfortunately, if your social circle is a lot of overweight people or people who are fat and they don't want to go to the gym, they don't want to gain muscle, they don't want to lose weight, they don't want to look better for themselves, they're happy being where they are, and that's totally fine if they are, but you want to change your life, you might need to think about changing your social circle, because you will never get out of that social circle fully. You'll always have that temptation pulling you back. You need to get a new circle of friends who you can actually hang out with, at least for certain parts of the time, so that you are gravitating towards that lifestyle. Remember, I talk about votes for a leaner lifestyle and votes for the body you want. If you're always hanging around with friends who are always overeating or going to the pub or smoking or doing drugs or any of those things, you are going to gravitate towards that behaviour. You need to have behaviour which is around you that supports the lifestyle you're trying to live. And this is why things like business masterminds work so well, because you're going to an event with a load of other business people who are all thinking about business and pushing forward, rather than sat in your office on your own thinking, oh, what can I do today to improve my business? It's the same with weight loss, it's the same with muscle building. If you're in a gym full of people who are pushing towards muscle building, and this is why you'll find bodybuilders always go to a gym full of bodybuilders, because it helps them grow. I used to be a bodybuilder, or I am still a bodybuilder, but not competing. When I made my gym, it was full of bodybuilders. Now it's less so. But I'm not that interested in being a competitive bodybuilder anymore, so I don't need to have that environment around me. But just have a look at your environment and just think, well, is my environment helping me, or is it hindering me? And are my friends helping me or hindering me? Now, it doesn't mean you really have to change your friend circle, as long as you recognise what's happening. You can say, yeah, thanks for the offer of the cake, but I'm fine, actually, I won't have it. Good thing as well, you could just say you're not on you don't tell them you're on a diet, so they don't aware of the fact you're trying to lose weight. Some things you'd say, oh, no, I'm full, I don't want it, thanks, that's fine. Or I'm not going to the pub today, I don't fancy drink, I'm going to train instead. All these things, eventually you will move out of that social circle if you are committed towards doing that. But just be aware that your friends might pull you back, maybe not so vindictively or consciously that they're doing it, but as part of keeping that tribal mentality, they will try and keep you in the environment that you're living and the environment that they're all living in. If you're trying to change that, it might become very hard if you haven't got a group of friends that are moving towards that goal. So a little bit of deeper stuff than I normally talk about here. No calories really involved there, but it's good to think about if you are trying to make these life changes, to try and think about your environment. Now, if you are concerned about your environment, and if you have the right environment, you can take my diet ecosystem test. It's a free test on my website, which you can determine to see if your environment is supportive of you. It takes about 3 minutes to fill in. It's a yes/no questions, and it'll give you a free report, free guidance afterwards to improve your whole diet ecosystem and get the results you want. So I'll put the link in the comments below. If you are listening to a podcast, just go to bkmnutrition.com, and I think it's like /social links, and the link to do it is in there. Okay, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.